got the kind of laid out with all the cheap hardware that came with it. And I'm okay with that. We'll go with that to start. But what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna set all this stuff aside and we're going to figure out the headstock, because I'm not going to go with this paddle headstock. I'm going to go with this Telecaster headstock, and I'm probably going to go, I think I need to go right up to the nut, or if I need to put this right, I think right there is where I need to be. I'm going to need to round this a little bit. And I put it on earlier, but I think I put it a little too high because I think I need to bring it down just a little bit and redraw this. And I'm going to go with this Leo James for a first one. I guess that's not too bad for a first kit. And then I can always revamp and change things up as we go with new. The problem is when I line up the holes, that's where my peg head ends up. If I make it longer, then my holes that are on the template do not line up, but I get a little bit more length in my peg head. Let's see what this looks like once I draw it out. And I'll probably round this just a little more. Don't really need to do much there, just round it. I don't like the point on that, but I think that'll work. So we'll take it over to the bandsaw and see how it turns out. So I thought I pushed play when I cut out my headstock, but apparently I didn't. So you didn't get to have to sit through the boring cutting out process. I ended up using my bigger blade. I didn't feel like changing blades, and I figured since it was such a small thing that I'm gonna have to sand out to shape anyways, I just went ahead with the blade I had and made a rough cut. As you can see, I still got plenty enough material to remove with my drum sander, and we'll go to that right now. So here we are at the spindle sander, and I'm going to start off with the bigger spindle so I can get the outside, round this off a little bit without making any small grooves, and then I'll switch to a smaller spindle to get into this little curve right here. So let's see what we got. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. I think we can easily take off this edge, kind of give it a little bit of a rounder, but I'm right up to my pencil line and I've got no weird spots. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Then we're gonna go over and we're gonna do some sanding on this peg head, the neck itself, and get the body ready for finishing. So here we go. So before we go any further, we'll talk about this a little bit. So this is a maple neck and maple fretboard. And my plan is to sand this down And then I'm going to use this vintage amber nitrocellulose lacquer to give it that aged appearance so that it looks like it's not a brand new raw wood neck. And for the body, I'm going to go with the butterscotch blonde nitrocellulose. And I'll do a couple coats of the nitrocellulose butterscotch blonde. And then I've got a relic finish that I'm going to test out just to see if it's what I want. And if it turns out to be what I'm looking for, to give it that older aged appearance, then I might go over the neck, or I just haven't decided yet. I'm going to test it with some wood, see how it turns out, and we'll see how it goes. So with the body, because it's a roasted pine body, I want it. It's a really good wood grain. I mean, you could tell it's pine, obviously, but it's a nice wood grain. It's a really good looking piece of wood. And I'd like some of the grain to still show through, but I also want that aged butterscotch blonde. I plan to put some through holes in it, and I've got the furrows for the back. I'll drill that on the drill press. I have to go out to the metal shop where the drill press is, but I'll drill those once I decide if I'm going to keep this bridge. So whichever bridge I decide to go with, I'm going to use that as the template for my through holes. But the way it stands now, I think I'm just going to use the bridge that came with it and try to keep this as low cost as possible. And I can change the pickups, and I think the bridge will work just fine. I mean, it'll do what it needs to do. It'll hold the strings on, right? And if I have to change it in the future, I'll change it in the future. Or I can just get another guitar kit and do it differently. So that's where I'm at today. I'm going to go through, do some sanding, and I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like after the sanding's done.